Welcome to Chad the Home Care Guy. Real conversations about aging, home care, and the decisions families face every day. Hosted by Chad Fisher, founder of Avail Home Care. Because caring for the people you love shouldn't be confusing. Let's get started.
All right, guys. Hey, I'm back. Today, it's Chad the Home Care Guy with Avail Home Care. And we are back today with a friend of mine, Ralph and Lindblad, right? Lindblad? I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Mm-hmm. All right. And he is the founder of a company called Sunrise Seniors. Do you add the Roblyn?
Roblyn Sunrise Seniors.
Roblyn Sunrise Seniors. How'd you come up with that name?
Well, it's kind of unique. My first placement many years ago, before I was in the business, I was working in a local pharmaceutical company, and we were having some issues with my mother. She had dementia.
Okay.
Was starting to wander down that pathway of, need some help. So we did the home care thing. We had somebody come in the house a couple days a week, and they kind of said, mom's really beginning to struggle here after, a couple, 3 months.
Yeah.
And we knew that. So we started looking for assisted living communities. My wife and I didn't realize that there were people out there that do what I do now.
Right.
There were some companies in the area, but no case manager ever mentioned it to me or we'd ever said it. So anyway, while she was there, at that point, we said, okay, so we started looking at some assisted living communities, not knowing she's got dementia, but we looked at assisted living communities, not knowing what she really needed.
Yeah.
We put her in assisted living, finally found her. Well, what happened was we looked at a couple, and one morning at 3:15 in the morning, I get a call. Ralph, I've fallen. I think I need some help. I was in East Lake, and she lived by Countryside Mall.
Okay.
So I went firing down there, and sure enough, she was in her front bedroom downstairs. She had a 2-story condo. Downstairs, sitting there, one leg's going sideways.
No.
Not moving them out. She'd already broken one hip, so I thought, here's number 2. All right, so we chased her off to the hospital, got a hospital. She never lived at home again, so we took a hospital. We had to figure out, I'll give more of the story to that, figure out a rehab community for her.
Yeah.
Assisted living and memory care, which is the whole story. But at the end of the day, when I finally realized I started my business, I got to thinking she ultimately was my first placement.
So that's
part of it. Okay. And the other part, that's the LYN part of Roblyn. And the ROB, the first part of it is named after my hero, which is my dad.
Oh.
His name was Robert. So It's ROB, LYN. And so that's where Roblyn came from.
Oh, that's
and actually on my website, it even goes through that whole story about that. So explain where that name come from. So yes, Roblyn Sunrise Seniors. So I carry him with me every day.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Well, talk a little bit about where you're from, because I know you're not from Florida. So talk about a little bit about where you're from, and then how'd you end up here?
I actually grew up in Illinois, Moline, Illinois, where John Deere comes from.
Yeah.
Big place there. And so we would come down here every year for vacation, every summer without fail to Clearwater Beach. And so when I was living up there in the Midwest, it's like, well, I want to get marine biology. I want to chase sharks. I don't know anything about that. That's a big Jaws came out, right? Oh, yeah. I want to get into marine biology. So I started looking around, and there's not many marine biology programs, BC or BS programs back in that day. We're talking about late 70s. Age myself here. But so I found one in the University of Tampa. They had a marine science program. So I came down here, went to school here. I never went back. Right. So my parents retired. They went down to Naples at first. At that time, Naples was like a little 2-lane road. It was like God's waiting ground. Right. So they left there, came back up to where they knew, up here in the Clearwater area. So they lived here and lived out the rest of their life in this area. That's why I could take care of my mother when she needed it. And so I stayed here and have been in this area 49 years now, I guess it is.
You're close to being from here then at that point.
Yeah, it's kind of like
once you hit that mark.
If we're in Key West, I'd certainly be a freshwater conch, but
Exactly.
kind of like it.
Well, with your business, what consultations are at no cost? Is it all of them, or is there any cost that comes to your service?
All of it is no charge. And I have people that I may chat with them, and after we talk and recognize the fact that, well, they need to stay home, thus we'll send them to a private duty. Yeah. I've done that. I have had that before. Sometimes we will, there's other ways that they may need to stay home. They might have to go through a little bit of background work, like maybe Medicaid application first, because they can't afford to live in a community on their own. So it doesn't matter what the story is. I look at every person's story that I work with. It's a puzzle. Everyone is different. There's some nuances that are normal, but everyone is different. And so, I dig in and just kind of go through all that. But all the work, even if I don't place them, there's no cost. And if I do place them, there's still no cost.
Yeah, that's great. What does a typical first conversation with a family look like when they contact you?
Sometimes their hair's on fire.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the time, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody's planning for this.
No,
right?
they don't. It's like, oh my God, we got this. Yeah, they said that they'll start explaining to me kind of what's going on with mom or dad or their brother, sister, whoever it may be. Then we kind of talk about it first and explain, or understand, do they need can they stay at home? Are they going to need just independent living, assisted living, or maybe they've got dementia? Do we need to look at memory care?
Right.
I learned myself the hard way. Memory care should have been the first thing I looked at back when I was doing it for my mother. I didn't know that. I didn't even know about memory care until I had to find one when she eloped twice.
Sure.
So,
And was this business model even around then?
what's that?
Was this business model around at that point in time?
There was a franchise. Actually, the franchise that I first purchased, I won't get the name of it, but I was up in Pasco County. But there was a franchise right here in this area that when she came out of the part of that backstory, when she came out of the hospital after she'd broken that hip, the case manager came out and gave me a sheet of paper and said, "Here are all the rehabs that are on your mom's insurance." I'm like, not knowing the business,
Yeah.
I thought, isn't that what you do?
Right.
But okay. All right. So we'd already looked at a couple. We've been down to 2 assisted livings. All right. Well, we'll step back and figure out what's a rehab all about.
Right.
So we went out and find one. I walk in the door, and the first thing you want is, and it was clean.
Yeah.
It smelled clean. I walked into the rehab area, and at that point in the pharma world, we were big on Lean Six Sigma. So everything needs to be in its place, Mark. And I walked in, and sure enough, that's what it was. Everything had boxes where it's supposed to be. Oh, this is going to work for 3 weeks, no problem. So we did. We placed her there.
Right.
While she was in there, we continued our work, looking at assisted living communities, and then we finished one. So again, case manager at the Sniffy did not have to find one. We had already found one for her, so moved her in there.
Yeah, that's great. And you're right. When people go into these places, they really should go in, smell, look, make sure. Does the staff have a smile? There's definitely some triggers where people should come in and really take a look, and you don't, because your mind is already in a different place. You're frantic. You need to find something. This is what you were told. You need to look at this place and this place, and but you really should know, what those places look like when it comes to a skilled nursing facility that you're rehabbing.
Exactly. So I was a little fortunate that my background in pharma, I had done a lot of auditing. I would audit our own plant. I'd audit it with our clients. We serviced all the large pharma of the world. I'd go out and do auditing out of suppliers. So I could walk in, look around.
Yeah, you get the vibe.
And, so I may not know the regulation, but I can look around and say, that doesn't look right.
Right.
And so that's kind of, I use that when I go in and just look at these.
Well,
and I still do to this day.
And so many people don't have that. So they do need help. How many families feel overwhelmed by the number of senior living communities available? And how do you simplify the process?
Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's one of the main things that I do. And I did learn from my franchise group that I was part of, and kind of how to work through that. In the county right here, I think we have 138 in Pinellas County.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot to look at, right?
That's right.
So you can't run down like the old days, the old yellow book, yellow page, and go, you're going to kill yourself.
Right.
So there's 3 pieces of the puzzle I look at. I kind of call them the legs on my stool. The first thing we look at is what level of care does somebody need? Because they're all not the same.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they do the same thing, but they all work in different capabilities. I look at what the person needs. We look at the geographical area they want to be in.
Yeah.
And the third piece, of course, that all important one, the budget. If you don't have those 3 pieces or those 3 legs of stool falls over. It doesn't work.
All right.
So that's what I do is I try to find 3 or 4 places that's going to pare that down. It's like when you go out and look at real estate, a house is, hopefully your realtor doesn't show you 10 places because you'll never keep them clear. Yeah. Never.
You only want to see a few of them that fit your criteria.
Exactly. And so that's what I do. I look at 3 or 4 places, try to find them. And sometimes it's only 1 or 2.
Right.
It is what it is because of the case we're looking at. But yeah, we look for that and then pare it down and then help them make a decision. Again, I've had some people that wanted me to make the decision for them. I had a senior lady. I said, I'm sorry, that is
can't do that. That's right.
No, we need to get your granddaughters or somebody involved. I can't do that.
Right.
I can help you, but I'll certainly give them all the information they need and then help them with their decision.
Yeah, good. What are some red flags that families should watch out for when touring assisted living facilities or memory care communities?
Well, one of the things you said earlier is, what do the people look like?
Yeah.
The community.
I think that's big.
That's huge. The level of care is what really matters. But you can walk in a place, and if you really want to pay for waterfalls and chandeliers, that's okay.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you're going to get the correct level of care.
Yeah, that's a facade sometimes.
It is. It's a very strong one. And sometimes they're trying to bang on that budget that somebody has, rather than really realizing there's a level of care that you want. And so I pay attention when I walk in. I'm touring. Does somebody make comment to me? Maybe somebody at the med cart. Oh, hey, how you doing? They talk to us. I don't necessarily want the person touring to introduce themselves. Oh, hey, so and so, how you doing today? I don't want that.
Right.
I want that person to turn to me on their own.
Right.
And when I do that, I know that we've got someone that's paying attention and recognizing what's going on. So
sure.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Is the red flag right off the bat is, how are the people acting? And of course, cleanliness is another big one.
Yeah,
Because if you walk into the place is just dirty and so forth, we've had a few we walked out of because of that. It's like, it's not going to work.
right.
And, and, and then, a red flag for me is I actually go on ACA website all the time and I monitor all the surveys of all the
That's
communities
smart.
all the time to make
Yeah.
sure, because there's a few that
Yeah,
I'll
those
put red flags on that
Right.
I won't go there.
Well, and people don't realize you're getting ready to make this major move from a condo or a townhome or a house into this smaller box, let's say. Yes, it comes with amenities, and yes, it comes with some extra people around you. If you're social, you can enjoy those activities and things, but you're getting ready to make that move and it's going to be for quite some time. You better know what you're getting into because it's not going to be the same as where you're coming from.
It's not. And I work with that quite a bit. You do have people that come from the larger homes, 3-bedroom homes and so
Yeah.
forth. And now I can't do it. I'm not going to, I was in the same place when I was looking for my mother. There's a couple communities I walked into here in North County. I walked in and it was like, and I literally backed out of the room because it's just so small.
It feels
It's like,
tiny.
oh my God, she had a 3-bedroom condo over there at 1,900 square foot. And she's moving to this. I thought, oh my God.
Yeah. What is the common, let's say a single person is going to move into a place. What is the common 1-bedroom size? Like, what does that look like?
400 square feet, maybe, or 500 square feet. So
Big change.
That's a community you're looking at. But yeah, that's very definitely. So the thing we try to explain to them too, is kind of what you alluded to, you have other friends, activities, so forth. And that's exactly what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
This is your bedroom. The whole place is your home.
That's
So
right.
it's a mindset. We have to get them into that and they have to want that. And if they do, that's great. If they're really social, oh man, that helps a lot. That makes my job even much easier.
I can imagine.
Some we have to kind of pull out because they've been isolated. I'm working with a family now. She's very isolated and says she wants that, but it's hard to get her out, pull her out of the house because that's her thing. And we need to get her out of there. We'll see if we can, but
Those are the tougher ones because, you gotta talk them into being able to hang out with people like a hotel all the time. There's going to be a little noise outside your room probably all the time.
Yeah.
So it is tough.
it's a different scenario. It's a different way of life. You're lucky when you have the ones that are looking for that.
Yeah.
They know I can't take care of the house anymore. I don't
Right.
want to worry about the roof. I don't worry about painting. I don't want to cut the grass and all that.
Yep.
So it's great when you have those and then are ready for that kind of a scenario. But it's sometimes a little more difficult, particularly if we're hitting that assistant side
Yeah.
because now they got someone else. Now they have to have somebody come in and helping them with showers and this, that.
Right.
They've lost a little bit of their individuality.
Yeah. Well, that's good. How important is the local knowledge and personal relationships when helping seniors find the right placement? What do you do? How much time do you really spend with somebody when you sit down with them and make that real connection to then guide them from there?
Yeah. Well, one of the things I do like to do is I don't necessarily want to go off task, but I do like to drift off a little bit to get into their personal life,
Yeah.
just to find out a little bit about them. I don't want to know everything about them,
Right.
but to kind of know what jazz them and what they like. Whether it's, and I would say 85% of the time, I'm working with the families.
Yeah.
Very little am I working directly with the senior. And so I'm trying to find out what they're about, then what they know mom or dad are about, and so forth. And it's great to be here where I live. My territory before, when I had the franchise, was north in Pasco County. I had to learn the county.
Right.
So to me, when you live in and you grew up in Pinellas,
Yep.
you go to Pasco, it's like I'm going to Gainesville.
Right.
I mean, you just didn't know.
It's a whole different world.
But now I'm here and I can drive the same distance I used to drive up there, but I'm driving home, man.
Right.
I don't care about how far.
And you know
I'm going.
everything that's around.
Yep. If you drop me in Clearwater, I'm going to find my way out.
Right.
And so it's not a problem. So it helps me to know where they are, where they're from, and try to get stuff. If we need to be geographically located for them, we can find that spot that's going to be right where they want to be.
Yeah. Thank God for GPS back then, right? Because I remember first starting Avail and going out on my own. And one, I didn't know where any facilities were. I had to map every one of them to get a list, and then I had to figure out what my route was going to look like and where that was going to lead me throughout the day to then hopefully circle my way back around. But I was covering everything. And, we were going all over the place, all through Tampa. And Tampa's huge. People don't realize how big Tampa is until you have to drive it. And then you're like, you feel like you're not even in Tampa. Same with Pasco. I would go to Pasco and I feel like I don't even know where I was anymore. I'm like, at what point does the border, because Pasco is just so large by the time you get out there, it's just not worth
it. Takes you an hour and 15 minutes to get to the other side.
Yeah. And we're in the Mecca right here. This is like the little epicenter of population, I would say. So it made sense just to kind of squeeze everything in for myself. And I'm sure you're the same way, where you're just like, It's all concentrated in this county right here. We'll just handle this.
And there's a lot of places I can work with from mid-county north, you know, and there are people in my business, and I know you know them as well, that they do a lot of work in the St. Pete area and so forth. So if I really need help down there, I can refer to them. Here's somebody, and they'll take care of you down there, you know, because they know that area. I know this area. I don't necessarily want to try to learn both of them because it's just, there's so much of it. Like I said, 138 communities in the county. So with that being said, I do pretty mid-county north is my sweet spot.
Oh, that's great. How do you help families handle the emotional side of transitioning a loved one into a senior living?
You know, that's kind of a neat one because it's funny you asked that, Jack, because when I started this business, I sat back at my desk one day. It's like, how did I do it? How did I do this? Because I do deal with families. Emotion is driving it all.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. And so how did I do it? And I guess I figured out that I pretty much put myself in the third person. Not that I love my mother any less, but I stepped back, and my wife, I knew we need to do this, pop, pop, pop. And we had things we had to get done.
Yeah.
In going through this process. And so that's kind of the way I work it. I don't try to shut down the emotion. I don't belittle it, but I try to keep us on task. So they will have emotion, and I fully understand that.
Yeah.
I did myself when I finally moved her and got her into the
empathetic side that you have to.
Man, it is there.
Business, right?
Oh, there is.
It just comes with the territory.
It does. And I've been there.
Yeah.
I've walked it. That's why I enjoy doing what I do, because I have walked all pieces of this thing right now and help people when I didn't have the help.
A little dark humor as well.
Yeah.
It becomes that for us.
Yeah, I know.
It becomes a little dark humor and a lot of empathy. You know, there really is.
Yeah, there's a lot of empathy because, you know, like I said, I've walked the walk, so I can help them, and they understand it once I've been through it. And fortunately, I had to roll my sleeves up, and I did not have somebody help me.
Yeah.
I was able to do it on my own. And so, even though I was with a franchise before, and I've been doing this, I would say probably 99+% is either what I had learned myself then, or have learned as a result of this. It was not a book training thing that had to teach me how to do this.
Yeah. Is there anything that you have to show them, or any kind of tools that make it easier on them, or, you know, have you had to add anything even into the website that kind of helps with what to expect?
That's a conversation sometimes I wait till we get to that point and just discuss things.
Yeah.
Like there's many times I've had people in memory care, and I never bring it up unless they talk about it to me. But I watched it happen with my own parent, and I watched it with other people that were in the community. Is you have good day, bad day, good day, bad day. And then you may have good day and a couple bad days. And then maybe a good day and a couple more. It starts out where more goods than bads. And that whole thing transitions to more bad days than you have good days.
They do want to take them out when they're having good days.
Yeah, exactly. But I explained, I've had a couple families kind of go down that path, and then I explained to them, this is what to expect. This is what you're going to see. Dementia and memory care, dementia doesn't go backwards. So
unfortunately,
the unfortunate part is it only progresses. And so with that being said, I don't bring it up though. I'm not going to say that and throw it out there unless they ask about it. If they do, I'll certainly help them, but I'm not going to. But the main thing is it's again, it's part of that puzzle I talk about. You never really know where you're going to go in the discussion until you get in the middle of it, to help somebody, whatever their next question is.
Do you provide any ongoing support beyond the initial placement? And what does that continued relationship look like with families that you've been through already?
I do. I continue to call. I will always, the day after somebody moves in, I'll always make a call. How'd the move-in go? Blah, blah, blah. I'll call it 1 week downrange. How did we do? How's mom, dad, whatever? How's the community, everything going on? One I just dealt with, put in a week ago. Yesterday, talked to me yesterday, and she's just flying. She's doing great.
Really?
It's like,
oh, that's great.
The best one I've ever had. They said when they moved her in, and she was the best first 24-hour move-in they've ever had. We didn't know it was going to be that way, but it was. So, and then I'll follow up again in a month. Yeah. Depending on the situation, I may follow up at 3 months. When I started this business, we also would follow up at a year. Sometimes in this business, a year might
not want to.
You know, when you don't make that phone call, you don't know what answer you're going to get on the other side. So I back that one off. And I have had plenty of people that have called me looking for assistance. And one lady I've placed her loved one like 3 times, you know, because they were here for a year and they don't like what's happening here. So not because of the placement, just because they didn't like the way things were changing. So
communities change.
They do.
They change ownership a lot, which ends up changing the culture.
Yep.
All kinds of things change with things. I've seen it in several communities locally around here. Big changes with some of these, you know, some for the good, some for maybe the not so good, but you know, they keep trucking and everything keeps going. It's when I say not so good, it's not the facility, it's just a culture shift. And some people just really love the culture that was there first. And that transition sometimes is too hard for somebody. And so they leave and go somewhere else. which in return changes the culture within even further within
Yep.
that community.
Yep. I mean, and, people resist change. People don't like changes. So when things change, a new ED comes in or something like that, and their philosophy of how they want to run the community changes. I've had some that moved back up out of state, and then it's like they didn't like it. There's too cold there. They want to come back.
Yeah.
It's great. But when we first placed it, they got great pricing. It was a special. Now that's not available now. So
All right.
never let us what it is. So
Yeah.
that's why.
What makes Tarpon Springs area that's home for you? But what makes this area? We kind of touch base on this, but I want to know why. Is it because it's so saturated? Would you not look at going outside of this anywhere else, or is this pretty much where it's going to be for your company to just stay?
No, we're here. I'm a Pinellas County boy now. I wasn't born and raised like yourself over here, but that freshwater content deal, I've been out here for so long, and I'm here. And
Yeah.
like if I need to do a placement in Hillsboro, I have a group, a couple, husband and wife over there that I was with them in the franchise world. They had that side, I had over here. Well, we're both long gone from that. But if I need some help in Hillsboro, phone call. And we got a guy that's going to move in June that we had to find a very specific place that we don't have here. We don't even have actually the whole west coast of Florida, but we got something that's kind of close to what he wanted, but it's over in Hillsboro. Hey, work it.
Well, tell everybody a little bit about where they can find you, how to make a referral to you, website, phone number.
Sure. I have a website online. It's Roblyn Sunrise Seniors.com. There's a section on there that anybody can go in and request assistance, request for information. Put your name and information in there. Boom, it pops right on over, and I'll get an email on that. We're also advertising on Google. There's stuff out there on Google. So if someone finds me out on Google, they can do the same thing. It'll take them directly to a page. They just fill it out, shoot it my direction, and I'll get straight on. They may not even see my website. So that's the other way. Our direct phone line, my number is 727-272-9567. So that's straight to me. I have that phone with me all the time. So that's probably the main way to get home. The website's a good one because you can go out and see. It explains independent living, assisted living, memory care, explains what Roblyn's all about, where my name came from, all that kind of stuff. It kind of helps people through the process. There's a lot of Q&A in there. And some testimonials in there. People I've worked with over the years. Cool. It's a good spot to stop and start looking.
Well, thank you,
brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Good to see you, man. I'm glad we got a chance to do this.
And we got great stuff. We got great today. Thank you so much, brother.
Hey guys, if you ever in need of a placement and you have no clue where to start, go ahead and give Ralph a shot, please. He knows his stuff. He's local, and he will treat you right. Again, I appreciate you guys all liking, following, and subscribing Chad the Home Care Guy podcast. And until next time, we will see you later. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.